My beautiful friends, I am sorry to tell you this, but the weekend is over, and that means it's time for you and me to get back to work. You ever notice how fast weekends go by? It's incredible. The week kind of just drags on, but weekends, poof, and they're just gone. Anyway, it's kind of a weird paradox that happens, but that's just the way it is, I suppose. So yes, Monday, January 9th, 2023. Okay, I know what you're doing because you're doing the same thing that this guy is doing. You are following the global debt market because you know better than anybody that that's the key to this market. So what's happening as of late? Well, a miracle. A miracle is occurring. It started like last week and it seems to be progressing. Global bond yields are dropping. Global bond yields are dropping. So what does that mean? Well, collectively here, people, central banks are buying it all. They're buying more debt. That's keeping rates suppressed even further here. And that certainly has put a spark underneath the global equity markets this morning. 10-year yield slightly lower. The relative strength of the dollar is lower. And I would be willing to bet that the MMRI is going to drop. Let's talk about the MMRI real quick. We are now at 229. The last time I looked at the MMRI, I would not be at all surprised, and I mean this, to see the MMRI drop under 200 in a relatively short period of time. Is it possible that we can get a reversal and bounce higher? Absolutely it is, but central banks, they're going way, 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 way out of their way right now to prop up this debt market even further. Why? It makes them stronger. And they're on a mission, people. Central banks are on a mission. A couple of things going on. Number one, they have declared war, as you are well aware of, on the middle class of the world. Okay. Inflation continues to rise with no end in sight. Despite the miracle that they're telling you is eventually going to happen, central banks, oh yeah, we're raising rates because we really care. They care so much about you and me. How about they couldn't care less? Oh, we are, we're disposable. All right, they're going to do whatever they got to do to fulfill their goal, their end game to own the world, and nothing is going to get in their way. And I mean nothing. So just get used to that. And part of this mechanism, and this is why towards the end of last year, especially, I was saying Fed's not done. Central banks are not done. They're going to inflate and inflate and inflate and inflate some more. Okay. They're right now, they're really on a mission to destroy the global economy, and they're doing a fantastic job at it. I mean, just this morning, more bad economic news. Let's talk about that. So more corporate layoffs, tens of thousands of people. A lot of these corporations that were already talking about laying people off have now increased those numbers. So who knows how many hundreds of thousands of people are going to lose their jobs moving forward. But remember the data. We're adding jobs. We're doing great. It's all fake. Okay. That's the truth. The world economy continues to slow. It's contracting dramatically right before our eyes. And, again, why this is happening because it's been foretold to you by the freaking central banks, the Federal Reserve. What are they trying to do? They're trying to kill demand. How do you kill demand? By killing the man. One of you wrote this, they're trying to kill demand by killing the man or woman in this case here, crushing demand by crushing the consumer under, a burden here of having to try to at least keep up with, trying to make ends meet here. How are people doing this? They're pulling their cash out of the banks. The savings rate is deep in the negative here. Money market accounts are being drained here. And what did Fed President Bullard tell you? Oh, the money supply is contracting because those two metrics are used in the money supply. No, the money supply is ballooning. I mean, he won't tell you. Bullard, bullshit, bull turd. Any of these Fed presidents will never, ever tell you about the off-balance sheet that the central banks all run. People, look, this is what I want to know. When do you think, again, I always love to ask these kind of questions. When do you think one of our politicians, one of our loving, caring representatives, when they pull the Fed chair or a Fed president before a congressional committee, is going to say, how about showing us the off-balance sheet operations of central banks? No, you're not allowed. Imagine this. We're supposed to be, and obviously we know this is not true, a government of the people, by the people, for the people. We're supposed to govern ourselves, and we're still not, when we're not allowed, nobody is allowed, nobody, doesn't matter where you stand, is allowed to peer into the dark shadows of any central bank, especially the Fed, as they are 100% independent. We can't do a thing. We're powerless. And what do they have? They have their own police force. They have the full backing and support of the United States Armed Forces, including its nuclear arsenal, and they will point that war machine at anybody, inward or outward. Okay, this is the power of central banks. It's just an incredible freaking thing here. But anyway, I want to hear from you. When do you think we're gonna get that kind of information? How about never? Absolutely not. And things are going to go on as they are as we progress further and deeper into this thing that it doesn't exist. It's not on the elemental chart. Cash being created by central banks out of nothing, and they continue to buy whatever they want with their own product, which is one thing, debt. And the more debt a central bank can issue, and issue through one door and buy back through another, the exponentially stronger they become. I really think we've passed the point of no return with regard to at least trying to curtail the power of central banks. It's unstoppable at this point. They're so powerful. They are so strong. And they'll pull the entire world population wherever they want. If they have to bring us all to war, a global war, if they have to reduce the global population via a nuclear exchange or via an implosion of the financial system, each one of these things is a mechanism which will vastly decrease the global population. When we have a meltdown here in the global debt market, it's going to create a resource problem unlike anything we've ever seen in the history of the world. There's going to be pandemonium in the streets as the financial system itself implodes. We see a scarcity, again, of resources, basic necessities, that is going to be biblical. And there's going to be a loss of human life on a biblical scale. And this is exactly where we're being driven. You see, a nuclear exchange more than likely is not in the cards, but I tell you what is in the cards: a meltdown of the financial system in order to bring in a new system. And the meltdown has to be so extreme, to such a level, that people beg on their hands and knees for help for a new system, and that's exactly where we are going. They're building us towards a new system, and that new system is going to be one of maximum control, and I think you already are very well aware of that. So anyway, going back to the economy here, that we're finding out that everything continues to slow dramatically on a worldwide scale. Even wage growth here, and that's something that got the market all giddy, that people actually earning less money. You remember what was her name? Fed President, one of the things that dwell in the Federal Reserve said that in order for inflation to come down, maybe you remember the name, people need to lose their jobs. Well, that's exactly what's going on here by the tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands. And I say, why don't we start with Federal Reserve presidents? We don't need these things. We don't need them, people. But it looks like the dependency on that institution is going to become much more extreme moving forward here. So wage growth actually is slowing according to what they're trying to tell us, but it's dropping like a rock if you weigh wage growth in any form against rising inflation. So real wages continue to, and that's no secret to anybody here. We have covered right here how real wages would never keep up. And that's part of the system here, offering people more credit. In other words, and this phenomenon going on because I've heard from thousands of you that you're getting credit limit increases by your creditors here, who want to make sure you remain a debt slave here. They're more than willing to lend to you. and have you borrow even more to make you dependent on the system here. $1.7 trillion budgets, you have war funding and whatever else they want to fund. That's all on your back. And what it does is make central bankers, literally spray their shorts all over the place. They're loving it because that's the whole thing. That's how we're progressing here. And the other thing I want to push home, other point I want to push home real quick, and I covered this at the end of last year, currency devaluation. Currency devaluation is I think the biggest theme here moving forward in 23 and beyond here, sucking the purchasing power out of the currency, making people struggle even more. Because that's, again, the pressure on the people of the middle class must continually be increased. See, because they're going to adjust. Okay, I can cope with this. And all of a sudden they pile something else on. Oh, wait, I got to cope with something else. Then people learn to cope with that. They learn to live a little more modestly. Okay, then they increase again, and these people get pushed down lower and lower and lower into the lower rung of society where they're supposed to be, according to central bankers. Again, what are we in the middle of? A new feudal system. Extreme haves, extreme have-nots, and a complete wipeout. This has been my theme for almost a freaking decade, and it's in our face. If you don't see this happening right now, I don't know what to tell you. The side effect of what central banks have been doing is soaring inflation. Do you really think this isn't deliberate? Did they really make a policy mistake as CNBC? You see, if you were to turn on Bloomberg, CNBC, any of them, pick one, Fox Business, the narrative is, central bankers, they really, really do care. They made, this is a policy mistake and they're trying to correct it. No, this is deliberate. It's absolutely deliberate, and they're not done. They're not done pressuring the people. They're not done inflating. You understand? Anyway, let's go back to this market real quick. Stock futures higher across the board this morning. 10-year yield lower. U.S. dollar straight lower. MMRI, I would be willing to bet it's going to drop at the open. Let's keep our eyes on that. If they manage to push the MMRI lower, this stock market is going to ignore everything and go higher. Much, much higher. Understand? The corporate layoffs here, what is that designed to do? Allow corporations to reap greater profits at the expense of the people themselves. Don't you understand? I hope you see what's going on here. I really, really do. Cryptocurrencies catching a very nice bid. Bitcoin back over 17,000. Gold and silver catching a bid. Crude oil higher by over 3%. The lifeblood of the military industrial complex is crude oil. You all know that. My theme also for 23, energy. People, I had said, if you recall, towards the end of 23, start buying the dips in this market. Look at energy ETFs, obviously betting against the debt, become your own central bank. All this stuff is playing out exactly how we expected it to. And we haven't seen anything. This is just the early stages of it. Early stages. Forget about it. What's going on? Look, I know you get it. If you follow this blog, some people who do follow this blog, or they won't understand, and that's okay. Not everyone can get these kind of concepts, and I try to break this stuff down as much as possible to its very basic elements, so it's simple to understand without all the dog shit, jargon that only maybe a handful of people on the planet Earth understand. You know what I mean? All right, look, people, you got this down. All of us do. We know what to do and why we're doing it here. We're not going to stop betting against the debt, becoming our own central bank here, realizing currency devaluation in much greater amounts is coming down the pike here. Massive inflating of the global debt bubble here. Federal Reserve's off-balance sheet operations. In fact, every central bank's off-balance sheet operation is going to balloon, but you can't see that. We know it exists, and we know it's there. But again, you're not supposed to know about it here. But every other manner of deception, lie, propaganda, and distraction is going to be thrown at you. But you see, you can see through all the bullshit. You know why? Because we follow this stuff together, you and me. This is our thing. We're a team here. This is a global family. This isn't just a blog, in my view. This is a global family who's raising their awareness every single day as to what is going on, and we know who the enemy is. The enemy. Public enemy number one is these institutions, these central banks, the financial system, and everything else has been completely weaponized. to the highest order. And I'll tell you right now, we haven't seen anything yet. It's going to get worse. You know that. Do you believe anything you're seeing is going to miraculously turn around, like inflation is going to miraculously turn around? Remember, it's going to be transitory, it's going to be temporary. They knew this. This was a lie they were selling to everybody. Oh, okay, it's going to go away miraculously. Even Janet Yellen, stain it thing, gnome, troll herself, whatever it is. Yeah, she sold that lie. Where's the accountability? It's nowhere. No one's held to account anymore. You know that. All right, people, look. Long video, but important. Please comment. Please share the video. If you think this has been valuable, a thumbs up. I would always appreciate that thumbs up. But I'm counting on you, all of you, to get this work out there. Okay? We must raise awareness. I think that's probably our last hope, is to raise awareness here. But unfortunately, I think it's just over. I really, really do. And we got to band together. We got to understand what's happening to us and then take action. This is a channel for people who are wishing to take action, not for people who are going to sit back and be sheared or be pushed off of a cliff. You understand? All right, look, I really am out of here. I will see all of you at the end of the day. Love all of you, truthfully.